The day the car crash stole my daughter's life, my husband was packing for a trip to the Aethelgard Range with his mistress and her child. My daughter, Lily, had a severe intracranial hemorrhage. Her life depended on a craniotomy, a delicate and dangerous surgery that only one person in the city was qualified to perform. My husband, the brilliant neurosurgeon, Dr. Julian Vance. I called him, my hands trembling so violently I could barely hold the phone. I called him again and again, dozens of times. When he finally answered, his voice, usually so calm and measured, was a whip of fury. "Alara, for God's sake, isn't this getting old? What kind of pathetic lie are you going to invent this time to get me to come home?" His words were a physical blow. In the background I could hear the light, carefree laughter of another woman and a child. "Don't you know how unhappy Penny has been at school?" he seethed. "She needs this vacation. If she doesn't go, she'll fall into a depression. And you call yourself a mother? How can you be so venomous?" The line went dead. I tried again, but it went straight to a busy signal. By the time Julian returned from his scenic tour of the Aethelgard Range, our daughter was no longer in a hospital bed. She was ash in a small cold box. I watched him and his new family as they walked into our home, their faces vibrant with the glow of their holiday. But I saw something else clinging to them, a faint, dark miasma, coiling around their bodies like smoke. I smiled, a slow, cold curve of my lips. They had been to the forbidden zones of the mountain. They had touched something they shouldn't have. Their lives were already over. They just didn't know it yet. Lily, my sweet Lily, was a blur of motion and blood as they wheeled her into the emergency room. A doctor, a colleague of Julian's, met me in the sterile white hallway, his face grim. He told me about the massive bleed in her brain, the critical pressure building inside her skull. She needed surgery now, and Julian was the only one who could do it. On my 20th call, he finally picked up. The sound of Sophia's simpering laugh and her daughter Penny's shrieks of delight filled the line before Julian's voice, soft and tender, murmured something to them. Then his tone shifted, hardening into steel as he addressed me. "Alara, what is wrong with you? If I don't answer, it means I'm busy." "I told you," he snapped, his voice rising. "Penny has been miserable. I'm taking her to the Aethelgard Range to clear her head. What could possibly be so important that you have to call right now?" My voice was a choked, desperate sob. "Julian, it's Lily. She was in a car accident. She's bleeding in her brain. You have to come back." He cut me off with the sound of pure exasperation. "Enough. Will you ever stop? Now you're using our daughter to manipulate me? To stop me from leaving? My God, Alara. You are a truly vicious woman." I gripped the phone, my knuckles white. "Julian, I would never ever joke about Lily. She is in the hospital. The doctors say only you can perform this surgery. Please, Julian, come back. She's not going to make it. I'm begging you." A cold, humorless chuckle came through the phone. "Oh, really? Am I the only doctor in the entire city? No one else can do it. It just has to be me? Alara, if you're going to lie, at least make it believable. Now I have to finish packing for Penny. Get lost." Before I could form another word, he hung up. Just then, the doors to the ER swung open, and they pushed Lily's gurney out. Her small body was a landscape of tubes and wires, a delicate bird caught in a technological web. Her brow was furrowed in pain even in her unconscious state. I collapsed onto her side, my tears soaking the thin hospital blanket. The doctor, a kind man named Dr. Lee, approached me gently. "Has Dr. Vance arrived?" I shook my head, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. "No," I finally managed. "He doesn't believe me. Could you please try calling him for me?" I felt a wave of shame asking this, laying my family's brokenness bare for a colleague to see. Dr. Lee's expression was tight with a mixture of pity and embarrassment, but he pulled out his phone. He dialed several times, his face growing darker with each attempt. He turned back to me. "Dr. Vance's phone, it's been turned off." A cold dread so profound it felt like dying washed over me. He had turned off his phone so I couldn't disturb their vacation. But my daughter, what about my daughter? I grabbed the sleeve of Dr. Lee's white coat, my voice a ragged plea. "Doctor, is there anyone else? Anyone in the world you can call to operate on Lily?" He placed a comforting hand on mine. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Vance. In this city, for this specific procedure, Dr. Vance is the only one. But her vitals are stable for now. We will monitor her closely. We can wait for him to return." A sliver of hope. I clung to it. But as a nurse began to wheel Lily toward the intensive care unit, everything changed. The steady rhythmic beep of her heart monitor suddenly escalated into a frantic high-pitched scream. Lily's small body convulsed, and she let out a strangled cough. A geyser of crimson erupted from her mouth, splattering the inside of the oxygen mask a horrific shade of red. The numbers on the monitor plummeted. Dr. Lee's face went pale. Get her back in. Now. Back to the operating room. I fell to my knees on the cold linoleum floor. My hands clasped together as if in prayer, tears streaming down my face. Please, I begged the retreating team of doctors and nurses. Please save her. She's my only child, please. A young nurse paused and squeezed my shoulder, her own eyes glistening. Mrs. Vance, we will do everything we can, she whispered. But without Dr. Vance. She didn't need to finish the sentence. I knew what it meant. My hand scrambled for my phone. Off. Still off. I used the nurse's phone. Off. My mind was a maelstrom of panic and grief. Julian, you monster. You absolute monster. The light above the hors doors glowed a hellish bloody red. And then a thought cut through the fog. Sophia. The mistress. She had once added me on a messaging app. A petty act of defiance to flaunt her place in my husband's life. I could reach Julian through her. The irony was a bitter acid in my throat. To find my own husband, I had to go through his lover. I stabbed at her contact and initiated a video call. If Julian saw the hospital, saw the reality of the situation, surely he would believe me. She rejected the call. I called again. And again. Finally, on the 5th try, she answered. Her face filled the screen, her makeup immaculate. A perfect mask of serene beauty. In the background, I could see Julian and her daughter, Penny, laughing as they sorted through a pile of clothes next to an open suitcase. They hadn't left yet. There was still time. I sucked in a shaky breath, the air thick with the scent of antiseptic and despair. Sophia, put Julian on the phone. She glanced over her shoulder, then stepped into what looked like a bedroom, closing the door softly. Elara, she began, her voice dripping with false sympathy. You know Penny hasn't been well emotionally. Julian just needs to spend some time with her. It's nothing serious. Don't worry, he'll always be your husband. I'm not trying to take him from you. I closed my eyes, fighting the rage that was boiling in my chest. Sophia, I said, my voice low and dangerous. I will say this one more time. Put Julian on the phone. It was as if she were deaf. She continued her monologue, a performance of practiced innocence. Elara, I know you're just scared I'm going to steal him away. I honestly have no intention of doing that. It's just that Penny doesn't have a father, and I want her to know what that warmth feels like. I know you want Julian to come home to you, that you don't want him to take us on this trip. But Penny has been looking forward to this for so long. Can't you just let us have this? A guttural roar ripped from my throat. Shut up. Are you an idiot? Can't you understand plain English? I said, put that animal you're with on the phone. Now. Sophia froze, her eyes wide, seemingly stunned by my outburst. I flipped the camera, pointing it at the glowing red sign above the operating room doors. Do you see that? That's the OR. My daughter Lily is in there fighting for her life. Now get Julian, damn it. If anything happens to her, I swear to God I will destroy you both. A flicker of something, not fear but calculation, crossed Sophia's eyes. Then, as if on cue, tears welled up and streamed down her perfectly powdered cheeks. She covered her mouth with a trembling hand. Oh, Elara, she sobbed. I know you don't want us to go on this trip, but you don't have to curse your own daughter. Lily is just a child. How could you, for the sake of a man, wish something so terrible on your own flesh and blood? She didn't move. She stood there, rooted to the spot, a portrait of a wronged woman. My heart turned to ice. She had no intention of giving Julian the phone. Thankfully, the sound of her dramatic sobs was loud enough to attract him. Julian entered the room behind her. Sophia immediately tried to hide the phone, but it was too late. He saw it. His face contorted with rage as he wrapped a protective arm around her. That lunatic actually called you? Is she threatening you? Seeing Sophia about to end the call, I screamed into the phone. Julian, look, our daughter is in the operating room. She has a brain hemorrhage, and only you can save her. The glaring red light of the OR sign was stark and undeniable on the screen. Julian's brow furrowed. For a single fleeting second I felt a surge of relief. He understood. Lily was saved. But then a mocking smile twisted his lips, and he let out a short, derisive laugh. Wow, Alara. I never knew you had such a talent for acting. You actually went to a hospital to sell this little performance. He stroked his chin, looking me up and down through the screen. It's a good effort. The disheveled hair, the frantic act. Like a madwoman. I'll give you a passing grade. Sophia giggled, leaning into his chest. Darling, she's a mother. How could she curse her own child like that? I could never do such a thing. Julian scoffed. You're nothing like her, Sophia. Alara has always been toxic. Then Sophia delivered the final, cruelest blow. Besides, honey, she said with a dismissive wave of her hand, your makeup is a mess, but you're hardly dressed like a mother whose child is in an accident. I looked at my reflection in the dark screen. My hair was a tangled mess, my face was ghostly white, and my lips were cracked and bleeding from where I'd bitten them. This was what she called dressed up. A primal scream tore from my lungs. Julian, is Lily not your daughter? You are a monster. You don't deserve to be a father. Why don't you just go die? Before Julian could retort, Sophia's daughter, Penny, started to cry. She tugged on Julian's shirt, her voice a soft whimper. Uncle Julian, does Lily need you? It's okay, you can go to her. You're her daddy, not mine. I'll be okay with mommy. Her cries grew louder. I'm just a girl with no daddy anyway, sob sob. Julian's heart melted. He scooped Penny into his arms, his face a mask of adoration. Don't cry, Penny. Of course you can think of Uncle Julian as your daddy. I watched the three of them, a perfect picture of a happy family. My heart didn't just break, it atomized. Before Julian could start yelling at me again, I ended the call. The door to the operating room had opened. I stumbled forward, pulling my face into a smile that felt more like a grimace. I grabbed Dr. Lee's sleeve, my voice a tiny, hopeful whisper. Doctor, the surgery, it was a success, right? He looked down, slowly pulling the surgical mask from his face. His eyes were full of a weary sorrow. I'm sorry, Alara. You should go say your goodbyes. The air was sucked from my lungs. The world went silent, then filled with a deafening roar. My legs gave out. The only thing in my vision was the small, still form on the gurney. The clothes she was wearing were soaked through with blood, their original color lost forever. Lily's eyes fluttered open. She struggled to speak, her voice a fragile wisp of sound. Mommy, Daddy, why didn't he come save me? A trickle of fresh blood seeped from the corner of her mouth as she spoke. Is Daddy getting a new daughter, Mommy? Her chest hitched. Mommy, can we not have a daddy anymore? Please. I covered my face, my body racked with silent, convulsive sobs. Lily was gone. I sat in the hospital corridor for hours, a ghost in a world that was still moving. My daughter's blood was drying on my hands. I finally opened my phone and saw a new post from Sophia. Yay! Aethelgard Range, here we come. The picture was of the three of them on a high-speed train, their smiles wide and brilliant against the scenic backdrop. I squeezed the phone so hard I thought the screen would crack. My daughter was dead, and they were on vacation. A cold, hard resolve settled in my chest. I sent Julian a single text message. Thanks to you, your daughter didn't make it out of surgery. If you have a shred of conscience left, you'll come back to see her one last time. His reply came much later. 2 words. You're insane. Then another message followed. I know Lily is upset that I'm taking Penny away. I'll make it up to her when I get back. As for you, you need to see a psychiatrist. Your brain must be filled with sludge to be acting so crazy all the time. I let out a hollow laugh and closed the phone. Julian, you truly are a creature beyond redemption. At the crematorium, a staff member who knew Julian approached me. He asked if I wanted to wait for my husband to return, to give him a chance to see Lily one last time. My face was a stone mask. He doesn't deserve to. I sat in the sterile waiting hall, clutching Lily's ashes, for how long I don't know. Someone had to gently remind me that it was dark outside and they were closing. I took my daughter home. There was one thing that gnawed at me. Lily was always so obedient. She would never have run out of the house by herself. I had told her to stay inside and do her homework until I got home. Something must have happened to make her run out into the street. A passerby had used her smartwatch to call me after the accident. The smartwatch. I pulled the small blood-stained device from my pocket. I checked the call log. A few minutes before the accident, there was an incoming call from Sophia. Sophia. My hands trembled uncontrollably. The watch had an automatic recording feature. I pressed play. Lily's sweet, bell-like voice filled the air. A phantom in the quiet room. My heart ached with a physical pain. Auntie Sophia? Is my daddy there? I can't get through to his phone. Sophia's light laugh. Oh, Lily, honey. Your daddy is busy helping us pack. He can't talk right now. A pause. Then Lily, her voice smaller. Are you and daddy going on a business trip? Sophia feigned surprise. A business trip? Oh dear. Did Julian not tell you? He's taking me and my Penny on a vacation to the Aethelgard Range. A tiny choke sob. Lily was crying. In the background, Penny's voice piped up. Mommy, Uncle Julian is just like a real daddy. Can I call him daddy? Sophia's saccharine voice replied. Oh, sweetie, Mommy can't decide that. You'll have to ask Uncle Julian if he wants to be your daddy. Then Penny's voice, clear and bright, calling out. Uncle Julian. Can I call you Daddy Julian? Julian's voice from a distance, warm and joyful. Of course, my sweet Penny. You can always think of me as your daddy. The three of them burst into laughter, completely oblivious to my daughter's world shattering on the other end of the line. Lily's voice broke in a full-blown, heartbroken wail. No. He's my daddy. Not yours. He's my daddy. Sophia's voice was cool and detached. Well, Julian agreed to it himself. If you have a problem, you should take it up with him. The recording ended there. My vision went red. I clutched the smartwatch, my teeth sinking into my lip until I tasted blood. So that's why she had asked me. Is daddy getting a new daughter? Those vile, despicable excuses for human beings. I sent another message to Julian. Did you know Sophia called Lily this morning? The mention of his precious Sophia got a quick response. What are you trying to do now? Start another fight. Sophia took a call from Lily, he typed. She just asked Lily if she wanted to come with us. You have such a filthy mind, Alara. You think everyone is as toxic as you. I laughed, a cold, empty sound, and closed the chat. Even if he knew what Sophia had really said, would it matter? Penny was his real daughter now. I opened my social media. Sophia had posted a stream of photos from their trip. I scrolled through them methodically. So they liked to travel, did they? They liked adventure. An idea, cold and sharp as a shard of ice, formed in my mind. Aethelgard Range. I hope you have a wonderful time. I called a friend of mine, a blogger who specialized in exploring dangerous and paranormal locations. I remembered him talking about Aethelgard, about a trip into its forbidden zone that had almost cost him his life. I knew the mountain. The public areas were safe, scenic trails for tourists. But the forbidden zones were another matter entirely. The deeper you went, the more dangerous it became. And I knew Sophia. She was fiercely competitive, driven by a pathological need to have what others didn't. Her entire personality was built on a foundation of spite and rebellion, especially towards me. If I told her not to do something, it was the one thing she would be compelled to do. I got the route my friend had taken into the restricted area. I found videos online of the treacherous paths and another popular challenge video of people gathering rare, colorful minerals from deep within the forbidden cliffs. I sent the links to Julian. Then I sent my message, dripping with feigned concern. Julian, darling, I've already lost Lily. I can't lose you too. Aethelgard is so dangerous. Please come back. Especially those places in the videos. They're not open to the public, please don't go there. I'm so worried about you. You know how Sophia is. She has that reckless streak and loves to explore. Please keep an eye on her. Don't let her drag you into the undeveloped areas. His reply was swift and contemptuous. None of your business. Are you trying to get my attention this way? We know what we're doing. We don't need you to tell us where to go. I smirked and put down the phone. Sophia would read his messages. She would see my warning. And my warning would be a dare. If this trap didn't work, there would be another. Without Lily, I had nothing but time. I would make them pay. I monitored Sophia's posts daily. 2 days later, a new one appeared. A picture of just her and Penny. I hate it when people try to tell me what to do behind my back. What's so scary about a little mountain? He's such a coward he won't even go with me. /angry/angry. Julian posted soon after. Has anyone been to Aethelgard? Besides the main tourist routes, are there any real dangers? Need advice? Most comments urged him to stay away. A few others egged him on. It's just internet hype. It's a mountain, what's it going to do? Didn't know the great Dr. Vance was so timid. I added fuel to the fire, commenting directly on his post. Of course it's dangerous. Please don't go. You're my husband. I would never lie to you to harm you. Sophia doesn't understand the risks. Don't let her drag you into her foolishness. A genuine smile touched my lips. I knew the more I played the part of the worried, hysterical wife, the more she would feel compelled to defy me. That afternoon, Julian deleted his post. They had a huge fight because of my comments. Sophia posted a passive-aggressive update with a photo of a plane ticket for the next day. A man isn't going to let the love of his life stay angry for long, especially when his pride is on the line. He couldn't very well admit he was scared, could he? Sure enough, the next day they had reconciled. Sophia posted a single emoji, a triumphant smirk. Some people are just cowards. Don't embarrass yourself in public. Little Aethelgard, watch me conquer you. The accompanying photo was of the three of them. A happy family once more, packed and ready. Excellent. Just excellent. They left their tour group and headed for the Forbidden Zone. Sophia, as always, documented their entire journey. The deeper they went, the larger and more ancient the trees became, blocking out the sun. The videos she posted were filled with the eerie calls of strange birds. Julian's face in the footage was pale and strained. He was afraid. But Sophia and Penny were ecstatic, their excitement growing with every step into the gloom. I added one last push. Julian, I can't believe you actually went into the Forbidden Zone. Come back. I can see in the video that your face is white with fear. He exploded. Shut up. I'm not scared of a damn thing. I'm a grown man, what is there to be afraid of? To prove he wasn't a coward, they pushed even deeper into the wilderness. Sophia, eager to spite me, started posting more frequently, flaunting their progress. Mutual friends commented, begging them to turn back, but Sophia just laughed it off, replying with smug confidence. I never fake anything, we're just a family of adventurers. Not like some people who would probably burst into tears if they came here. Seeing them so obediently walk into my trap, I finally felt a sense of peace. I began to deal with my own life, the work I had neglected, and Lily's final arrangements. I held a small funeral for her. My relatives came, all of whom had seen Julian's vacation posts. They cursed him, calling him less than human. A kind aunt urged me to divorce the scumbag. I just smiled faintly. They will get what they deserve. 3 days later they returned. Julian walked into the house carrying a shopping bag. Lily, Daddy's home. I brought you your favorite stuffed doll. He called out, looking around. I sat on the sofa, watching his charade with detached amusement. He grew more impatient as he searched the empty rooms. Finally, he threw the bag on the floor with a thud and tugged at his collar in frustration. Alara, what is your problem? Just because I took Penny on a trip, you're not even going to let me see my own daughter. I slowly lifted my gaze to the new portrait on the wall. Your daughter, I said softly, is right in front of you. Julian flinched as if struck. His eyes followed my gaze to the smiling memorial portrait of Lily. He pointed a trembling finger at me. Alara, are you even human? How dare you hang a memorial photo of Lily? His eyes darted down from the photo to the small, ornate wooden box on the table beneath it. He ground his teeth. I see you've really lost your mind. You even got a fake urn. Do you deserve to be a mother? Lily would be better off with Sophia as her mom. When I didn't respond, he kicked the shoe cabinet in a fit of impotent rage and stormed out. He didn't even make it through the door before he tripped over nothing and fell flat on his face. Blood gushed from his nose. He scrambled up, spitting a curse. Being with a woman like you is just bad luck. I raised an eyebrow. The dark aura around him was thickening. Julian's string of bad luck was just beginning. He went straight to Sophia's. That evening, she posted a photo of the three of them at dinner. She also showed off a souvenir from their trip. A smooth, dark stone covered in strange, unintelligible symbols. People in the comments warned her not to pick up strange things from a place like that. She arrogantly replied to every single one, dismissing their concerns. In the photo, the dark miasma around all three of them was thicker, blacker. Their good days had begun. The next night, I came home to find them in my living room. Sophia was in the kitchen wearing my apron. Penny and Julian were on the sofa, looking at a photo album. A perfect domestic scene. Julian shot me a contemptuous look. Where's Lily? Penny wants to see her. Penny stood up and looked at me timidly. Auntie Alara, I want to play with Lily. I pointed a finger at the urn on the table. She's right there. Go on. Go play with her. Penny burst into terrified tears. Sophia rushed out from the kitchen and, as if horrified, threw herself into Julian's arms. Alara, I know you hate me, but you can't take your anger out on a child, she wailed. Penny just wants to play with her sister. What did she do wrong? Seeing her pathetic, manipulative act, the dam of my control finally broke. I lunged forward, grabbed a fistful of her hair, and dragged her across the room, forcing her to her knees in front of Lily's ashes. You want to play with her? I snarled, my face inches from hers. Go on. Play. You ever try to pull this pathetic act in front of me again, and I will slap that pretty face of yours until it's unrecognizable. She screamed, struggling against my grip. Alara, you're insane. You curse your own daughter, and now you're attacking me. Julian, are you just going to stand there and watch your wife beat me? Julian finally snapped out of his shock and strode towards me. Alara. I let the thing with the photo go, but what the hell are you doing now? A harsh laugh escaped my lips. Oh, Julian. What am I going to do with you? Lily's ashes are right there in that box. Are you blind? I paused, my voice dripping with scorn. Fine. Let's say you are blind. Why don't you call one of your colleagues at the hospital and confirm it? He froze, his face a canvas of shifting emotions, finally settling on disbelief. He fumbled for his phone, half convinced but still needing to be right. Alara, if I find out you're lying about this, you will get on your knees and beg for my forgiveness. My gaze was flat and cold. Fine. And if it's true, the three of you will kneel before Lily and beg for hers. Julian put the call on speaker. Sophia, ever the supportive victim, whispered, Don't worry, darling. She's just trying to break us. The call connected. It was Dr. Lee. His voice was thick with sarcasm. Well, Dr. Vance. I'm surprised a busy man like you has time to call me. Aren't you supposed to be on vacation with your little plaything? Julian's face went crimson. He cleared his throat. Lee, what are you talking about? I was just calling to ask. Did my Lily have a car accident last week? There was a moment of dead silence on the other end. Then Dr. Lee's voice returned, laced with pure contempt. A week later and you're finally asking about your daughter? Do you even deserve to be a father? Julian's face drained of all color. What did you say? I said you don't deserve to be a father. Your daughter was dying in the OR while you were off playing house with your mistress. A real father of the year. Sophia's face was just as pale. She whispered. Maybe Alara and Dr. Lee are in on this together, trying to trick you? That was the last straw for Dr. Lee. He exploded. Trick you? Are you kidding me? Shut your mouth, you have no right to speak. If it weren't for you holding him back, his daughter might still be alive. And you, Julian, I think you should quit medicine. This hospital has no place for a doctor with no morals and no heart. He hung up. Sophia started her whimpering routine again, but Julian wasn't listening. He numbly dialed the number for the hospital's crematorium. He received the same stark confirmation. He stared at me, his voice a choked whisper. Alara, Lily is dead. Why didn't you tell me? I strode forward and slapped him across the face. Once, twice, 3 times. The sharp sting in my palm was satisfying. I didn't tell you? I hissed. I blew up your phone. I begged you to come back. And what did you say? You said Penny would get depressed if she didn't go on her trip and that I should stop being pathetic. Lily had a brain hemorrhage. Only you could have saved her. And what did you say? You told me to stop acting and to come up with a better lie. I crossed my arms, looking down at the two of them as if they were insects. Kneel. Julian collapsed to the floor in front of Lily's urn, his body shaking. He started slapping himself hard over and over. Lily, Daddy's so sorry. I'm so sorry. He looked up at me, his eyes swimming in tears. Did Lily leave any message for me? Yes, she did, I said, my voice as cold as the grave. She said she doesn't want you as her father anymore. The words shattered him. He let out a gut-wrenching howl and collapsed, sobbing, on the floor. I yanked Sophia's hair, forcing her to her knees beside him. She started to protest, to appeal to Julian, but he turned on her, his grief twisting into rage. Shut up. If you hadn't said Penny would get depressed, Lily wouldn't be dead. Penny, who had been watching silently, walked forward, clutching her new doll. She looked at Julian with wide, innocent eyes. Daddy Julian, you don't have Lily anymore, but you still have me. I can be your daughter. Julian looked at her with cold, dead eyes. I only want my Lily. Penny burst into tears. Sophia, incensed, scooped her up. Fine, Julian. It's all our fault. We'll just leave then. As she stormed down the stairs, she slipped and fell, cracking her head open on the steps. A river of blood streamed down her face. I turned my attention back to the weeping man on my floor. So sentimental now that she's gone. Stop your pathetic act. He looked up, his face a mess of tears and snot. Alara, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Suddenly a thought struck him. He scrambled to his feet and grabbed my shoulders, his eyes wild. Lily was always so careful. How did she run into the street? How did she get hit by a car? I shoved his hands off me. Do you remember her calling Sophia? He nodded, confused. Yes. Sophia said she just asked if Lily wanted to join us. I threw the smartwatch at his chest. Listen for yourself. Listen to what your precious Sophia really said to her. As the recording played, Julian's face turned from grief to a black, thunderous rage. When it was over, he stood silently by the window for a long, long time. Finally he spoke, his voice hollow. Alara, let's get a divorce. Lily is gone. There's nothing left to hold this marriage together. Fine, I agreed instantly. There was a 30-day cooling-off period, but I knew they wouldn't last 30 days. Divorce? I was counting on widowhood. Julian and Sophia reconciled. He never came back to our home. We filed the divorce papers to be finalized in a month. Sophia flaunted it on her social media. True love conquers all. In the photo she posted, the strange stone from Aethelgard sat on a shelf behind them, emanating a palpable darkness. And the look in Julian's eyes as he gazed at her, the love was gone. Their new life together began. They moved in together, and the news scandalized our friends and family, but Julian didn't care. Sophia was ecstatic, documenting their every move online. She even had Penny's last name, legally changed to Vance, eagerly awaiting the day she could become the new Mrs. Vance. She quit her job to become a full-time homemaker, smugly declaring that my downfall was my failure to prioritize my family. It mattered little to me. I was leaving this city of ghosts. I was taking Lily's ashes with me. She wouldn't want to be buried in a place haunted by her father. A week later, I was in a new city with a new apartment and a new job. On the day I interred Lily's ashes in a quiet, sun-dappled cemetery, I didn't tell Julian. But somehow, he found out. I saw him standing at the back of the small crowd, hidden behind a large oak tree. As he turned to leave, I saw a single tear trace a path down his cheek. The tears of a crocodile. I started my new life, but I kept an eye on their old one. The blissful domesticity Sophia had imagined never materialized. They fought constantly over the smallest, most trivial things. One day, Sophia posted a tearful rant online. Julian had flipped the entire dining table because his food was slightly too salty. He would have hit her, she claimed, if Penny hadn't intervened. Commenters urged her to leave him, warning her about domestic abuse. But Sophia refused. It was as if a switch had been flipped inside her. She replied with venom. Why should I always be the one to give in? Don't I have a temper too? I, Sophia, am not a doormat. Soon they ended up in the hospital. Not as a doctor and a visitor, but as two patients who had brutally assaulted each other. They had fought with a terrifying ferocity, leaving each other bloody and bruised. Julian had nearly beaten her to death. The incident became a local scandal, even making the news. As a result of the negative publicity, Julian was fired from the hospital. I watched a news clip online. The look in Sophia's eyes as she stared at Julian from her hospital bed was not one of fear or love, but of pure demonic hatred. It sent a shiver down my spine. And yet, they did not separate. The scandal made them infamous. Sophia, ever the opportunist, decided to leverage their notoriety into a career as a live streamer. She crafted a persona of a gentle, long-suffering wife and mother. Viewers begged her to leave Julian. She would cry on camera, saying she just couldn't live without him. The sympathy soon turned to disgust and morbid curiosity, which only boosted her viewership. People tuned in daily to watch her self-destruct. A few days later, another violent fight erupted during a live broadcast. The trigger was, again, ridiculously minor. Penny finished her homework and wanted to watch television. A sudden, inexplicable rage seized Sophia. She grabbed a heavy vase and smashed the TV screen. "Watch TV!" she shrieked, her voice high and piercing. "I work so hard, and all you want to do is watch TV instead of studying. I'll show you watching TV." Julian, annoyed by the noise, came out and began smashing furniture, reducing their home to a wasteland of splintered wood and shattered glass. The only thing left untouched was the strange, dark stone from Aethelgard. Penny's terrified wails filled the air. Julian slapped her hard across the face to shut her up, and then he and Sophia were on each other again, tearing at one another like wild animals. This time, because it was all happening on a live stream, a viewer had called the police, who arrived just in time to prevent a murder. An observant viewer had already noticed the stone. The next day, during Sophia's hospital bed livestream, they pointed it out. "Host, where did you get that black stone?" Sophia preened. "Oh, you noticed how special it is? I brought it back from the Aethelgard Range." The comment section exploded. People, especially those with some knowledge of geology and folklore, begged her to get rid of it. They said stones like that from forbidden places could warp a person's mind, amplifying their inner darkness. "It starts with small arguments," they warned, "and ends in death. If she threw it out now, she might be saved." Sophia scoffed. "You've all just been scared by those silly internet stories. I've been to the forbidden zone of Aethelgard myself. I can handle a little rock." The stone brought her another wave of traffic. After being discharged, she started featuring it in her streams. She even connected with a live-streaming antiques appraiser. The moment the appraiser saw the stone, his face went white. He told her to get rid of it immediately. Not just throw it away, but to take it back to the exact spot in Aethelgard where she found it. Furious, Sophia cursed him out for being incompetent. As she yelled, her eyes were wide and unnervingly blank. But the seed of fear had been planted. Reading the hundreds of comments all saying the same thing, she finally decided to throw the stone away. The one who stopped her was Penny. Her daughter clung to the stone, screaming and crying, vowing to run away to a place they would never find her if they took it. The commotion brought Julian out of his room. When he saw Sophia about to discard the stone, his eyes, webbed with blood-red veins, bulged with a terrifying rage. He lunged for her. They wrestled on the floor, a tangle of limbs and fury. As Julian pinned Sophia to the ground, his hands closing around her throat, Penny silently offered him the stone. He took it, and he brought it down on Sophia's head. This time Sophia was not so lucky. She was beaten to death live for thousands of viewers to see. The moment her body went limp, Julian seemed to wake up. He scrambled backward, screaming, his eyes wide with horror at what he had done. He staggered to the window and, without a moment's hesitation, threw himself out. They lived on the 5th floor. He didn't die. He was left with just a breath of life. It had been less than a month since they moved in together. As his legal wife, I was called to the hospital to handle the arrangements. With the stone's influence gone, Julian's eyes seemed clearer. When he saw me, a faint, ghastly smile touched his lips. He murmured, his voice a rattling whisper, "Lily. I got revenge for Lily. She'll accept me as her father now, right?" I looked down at the broken man, my face a mask of ice. I uttered a single word. "No." The last light faded from his eyes, and Julian Vance was gone. I handled his affairs quickly. Online, the story had a final tragic postscript. With both her mother and adoptive father dead, Penny was sent to live with her grandparents. The stone was taken away by paranormal investigators. But Penny had been in its presence for too long. The stone's malevolent energy had sunk too deep into her soul. Without it, the backlash was severe. She regressed into a state of dementia, a child lost in her own mind. She spent her days laughing and crying for no reason, unable to feed herself or even speak a coherent sentence. The only words she could manage to stammer, day after day, were that she had to go back to Aethelgard. It was in the end the justice they had earned.